This young man's vibrant coat became a symbol of love and a catalyst for hatred, igniting a fire of jealousy that would consume his brothers and alter the course of history. But the pit they threw him into was just the beginning of a journey that would test his faith, challenge his character, and ultimately lead to his greatest triumph. Picture, if you will, a family torn apart by favoritism. Jacob, the patriarch, blessed with 12 sons, but his heart belonged to one above all others. Joseph, the 11th born, was the apple of his father's eye. And to show his love, Jacob bestowed upon Joseph a gift that would change everything. A coat of many colors. Now, this wasn't just any coat. It was a masterpiece of craftsmanship, each hue carefully chosen, each stitch a testament to Jacob's affection. When Joseph wore it, he stood out like a peacock among sparrows, a living, breathing reminder of his father's preference. But what Jacob saw as a token of love, Joseph's brothers saw as a declaration of war. With every step Joseph took in that coat, resentment grew in their hearts like a poisonous weed. They watched as their father's eyes lit up when Joseph approached, while they faded into the background, forgotten and overlooked. Joseph, young and naive, didn't help matters. Blessed with prophetic dreams, he shared them without considering the consequences. He dreamed of sheaves of wheat bowing to his sheaf, of the sun, moon, and 11 stars paying homage to him. In his innocence, he didn't realize he was fanning the flames of his brother's hatred. The breaking point came on a day like any other. Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers as they tended the flocks. As Joseph approached, resplendent in his coat of many colors, his brothers saw not their flesh and blood, but the embodiment of everything they despised. In that moment, fueled by years of bitterness and jealousy, they made a decision that would echo through generations. They seized Joseph, stripped him of his precious coat, and threw him into a pit. The very garment that had been a symbol of their father's love became the instrument of their betrayal. But fate, dear viewers, had other plans for Joseph. As his brothers debated his fate, a caravan of Ishmaelite traders passed by. In a twist of irony, the brothers who sought to rid themselves of Joseph became the very instruments of his deliverance. They sold him into slavery, thinking they were writing the final chapter of his story. Little did they know, they were merely setting the stage for an epic tale of redemption, forgiveness, and divine providence. Joseph's journey would take him from the depths of a prison cell to the heights of power in Egypt, second only to Pharaoh himself. As for the coat of many colors, the brothers dipped it in goat's blood and presented it to their father, weaving a tale of Joseph's demise. Jacob, heartbroken, mourned for his favorite son, unaware that the very act meant to destroy Joseph would be the catalyst for his rise to greatness. But what became of the brothers? Their lie may have removed Joseph from their lives, but it couldn't erase the guilt that gnawed at their souls. For years, they lived with the weight of their deception, watching their father's grief and knowing they were the cause. The story of Joseph's coat teaches us that actions born of jealousy and hatred often have consequences far beyond what we can imagine. It reminds us that even in our darkest moments, when we feel abandoned and betrayed, there may be a greater purpose at work. As we reflect on this tale, we must ask ourselves, how often do we let envy cloud our judgment? How many times have we been blinded by our own desires, failing to see the bigger picture? The coat of many colors was more than just a garment. It was a test of love, of character, of faith. For Joseph, it was the beginning of a journey that would shape him into a leader and a savior. For his brothers, it was a harsh lesson in the destructive power of jealousy. But perhaps the most profound message of this story is the power of forgiveness. Years later, when Joseph revealed himself to his brothers in Egypt, He chose mercy over vengeance. He saw beyond the pain of their betrayal to the greater plan that had brought him to where he was. In our own lives, we may not face trials as dramatic as Joseph's, but we all encounter moments that test our faith and character. It's in these moments that we must choose. Will we let bitterness consume us, or will we trust in a higher purpose? As we close this chapter of Joseph's story, I invite you to consider the coats in your own life. What gifts or blessings have you received that others might envy? How can you use those blessings not as a source of pride, but as tools to serve others and fulfill a greater purpose? And if you've been on the other side, if you've felt the sting of being overlooked or undervalued, remember Joseph's journey. Your current circumstances do not define your ultimate destiny. Your pit may just be the prelude to your palace. So, dear friends, as you go about your day, carry with you the lessons of Joseph's coat. Let it remind you to wear your blessings with humility, to guard against the poison of jealousy, and to trust that even in your darkest moments, a greater story may be unfolding. And now, I leave you with this question. What will you do with the coat you've been given? Will you use it to divide or to unite? To boast or to bless? The choice, as always, is yours. Until next time, may you find the strength to face your trials with grace, the wisdom to see beyond appearances, and the courage to forgive as Joseph did. For in doing so, you may just discover that your own coat of many colors awaits you, woven from the threads of your trials and triumphs. This is your narrator, bidding you farewell and reminding you that sometimes the most vibrant stories are written not in the colors we wear, but in the choices we make. If this moved you, press subscribe and stay with us. We unpack one life-changing story every week. Simple, powerful, and true. Come back for the next one.